Hello guys, and in today's video I'm going to teach you a simple way to get most of a wax mess off of fabric. Mommiesaurus and Daddysaurus had a boo-boo, and our big wax candle, a hole burnt in the side of it, and then the candle like spilled everywhere. And some people would just throw something like this away, but this was my grandmother's. It is part of my Christmas decorations, and I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to show you a trick on how to get most of. You'll never be able to get all of the wax out of a piece of fabric ever. Especially when it's in, see that edging there? Yeah, I had to move everything. There's dirt all over the place from my potted plants that were over here. I had a potted plant right here. And lifting it up and jiggling it and unattaching it from the wax caused me to spill dirt everywhere. It was a big mess. So, what I did was I cleared everything off first. And then I went through and you break off as much of the bigger stuff as you can. If you want, you can try to break it off of the fabric, but a lot of times it just makes it more of a mess. So, just peel off the stuff that'll easily break off. The stuff that doesn't, leave it, because I'll show you the next step for how to get most of this off. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, next stage. I shook off all the dirt, and then you get yourself several thick layers of newspaper, and you put the wax side down against the newspaper. That way it doesn't, if it starts to melt a little bit, it doesn't get everywhere again. Then you take a thin layer of newspaper, because you want the heat to be able to get through. Now you've got your iron, and you only want it on medium heat. You don't want it on a high heat. And you just run it over. You'll actually start to be able to feel the wax melting. And then it should peel off much easier. You'll have to go back over it again and again and again, because it cools pretty quick. Let me get that. It's melting here in the middle just fine. See? We literally just got to do it one little bit at a time. I don't think I have my thing turned up quite high enough because the newspaper is absorbing it. That's not wax. That's water from the... Yeah, see, I've only got my thing on 3. I don't even have it on medium, you guys. Alright, here we go. There we go, see? A little bit more warmth. Keep it on medium. I only had it on low. Then we're just going to keep melting it. And peeling it off. Alright guys, I am going to turn you off and bring you back when I've got all this peeled off. Now remember, this is going to be a really slow process, and if some wax ended up getting on both sides, you have to melt this wax off before you can get through to the heat on the other side. So it's a slow process, but we'll do it. We'll be back, you guys. Alright, now that I've got all that wax heated and peeled off, it takes a long time, you guys. A long time, and you gotta go really slow. Do the next stage. I've already done a couple of them. And you gotta do one piece of paper at a time, and you gotta be really slow. All that wax, and really careful. Because you don't want to ruin your iron. So what you do is you've got a single piece of paper underneath, because most of the time it will not leak through. Then you go to the side that got all the main wax bulk on it, and you lay down folded up newspaper so you have a nice thick paper. Make sure you do not let your iron touch the wax, and you just slowly go over the newspaper, and the newspaper will suck up the wax. It'll take a lot of newspaper, and it'll take a long time, you guys. And I have so much wax on here, it's not gonna, definitely not gonna all come off. It'll probably, to a certain degree, be kind of like a semi-stiff sheet permanently. Now, if I had another piece of fabric, I didn't mind allowing to get room. You could also do that, this, same thing with a piece of fabric. Cotton works really well. T-shirts you don't want anymore. Jeans that you don't want anymore. Then, the jeans and the t-shirts, you can do the same thing with the newspapers. Just save them. They're covered in wax. They're great fire starters if you have fireplaces. Or I'll put them aside for coming up next summer for me to use to help start my grill. And when you're doing this stage of it, you want to turn your iron, my goodness, your clothing iron all the way up to high. And you only want to heat it until you start seeing the wax slide through, because you don't want to ruin your iron. It's a long, slow, and laborious process. But it will get done. It'll be dark by the time I'm actually done with it. I've been using the light of the day to show you guys. And it's already taken me an hour to do this. Make sure that you also, after about 15 to 20 minutes, you turn off your iron and you let it cool for 15 minutes. And then you go at it again, because you don't want to overheat, ruin your iron. See, I got most of the wax off of that area. Now I get started on another area that's got a lot of wax on it, and you'll actually see the wax come through quickly if it's got a large quantity of wax there. See that starting to melt there? Slow and laborious. Alright guys, I'm going to keep at it. And I'll bring you back when it gets as clean as it can possibly get, so that you can see the difference. Alright guys, we'll be back. Okay guys, I spent 3.5 hours doing this. I used up a bunch of paper doing this. I could keep going and do it more, but it's a lot of work. As you can see, I got most of it off of the edge there. Remember, it had been one big glob. And then, like I said, it's going to still be kind of a little stiff, but as you can see on both sides, it's not that giant chunk of wax anymore. So, alright guys, there we go. Easy, simple, it takes a lot of work, but there we go. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next one, and remember, stay positive. Bye!